Whoa. My bad.
What
But
is
once
that?
again, yeah,
Yeah.
it's me, Remy Please, of Flight Room TV. There's another episode of Overtime 68. It's me, Remy Please. I'm with Simo, Lighthouse.
Love y'all.
Yep. And there's another episode of Overtime. We talk about everything that we're not supposed to be talking about. But today being MLK Day, we're gonna go ahead and talk about, the
Ben
assassin
Roethlisberger.
the assassination of Martin Luther the King. And I'm not even gonna like pussyfoot around with this subject at all. Let's jump out there. The US government in 1999 was already found guilty of conspiring of the plot to kill Dr. Martin Luther King in 1968. Boom. Uh, a jury of 6 white people, 6 black people, um, had a verdict over, I think it was like 9 hours and over 40 witnesses through a span of either like 7 or 11 days. But yeah, that's the fact of the
Mm.
matter. The point that it was a civil wrongful death lawsuit is just to put the fact out there because there was no way the U.S. government was going to allow it to go to a criminal trial because some type of they hold some type of sovereign. They could just decline anything against federal or whatever government agencies, the agencies itself. You know what I mean? Not even like, because if you don't know who's the players in the whole predicament, you can't bring those agencies to a criminal court. So that's why I was already kicked to uh, a civil trial. And I think the fact of the matter that
So you got to have
the
names or whatever.
that's what I was reading, and the fact of the matter that they only were the King family was only awarded $100. That's why I really didn't get picked up, along with a bunch of other things like media attention, which is crazy because like all the media that the smaller stuff like Rittenhouse and shit like that in today's ages. But yeah, but I mean we can file down the line of the conspiracy of what happened, but we know what happened. In any crime, you want to know the motive, and that's when I kind of want to get into like what was the motive to take him out. Like that's the question I want to pose to our followers, to the listeners. I hate that word followers. I don't know why I use that, but to our listeners, to y'all right now, I wanted to like dig in deep to what was the motive to take him out, and we could still get into um the conspiracy of it, like who was involved. Apparently it was the Memphis Police Department, the FBI, um
The
the
mob.
the Dixie Mafia, yeah. um Even some of those black political leaders too had to help a hand in it. But yeah,
Mm.
so I don't know which way, if I had to pose a question, which way would you think you know was the reason? Because I don't want to hear that, straight up and down bullshit about, oh, it's just white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? The surface of it is, oh, it's just white supremacy.
Well, I mean, what was the common, I guess, fear that all these groups had of him, where they feel like they had to conspire together to take him out? Like,
Right.
what was the one thing that he stood for that was a threat to all of them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then he was, part of that whole, COINTELPRO, you know, investigation. Him, Fred Hampton, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, all these quote unquote black messiahs. Like he was being tailed, recorded,
Hmm.
videotape, trailed, all that stuff for probably like 15 years. They even have like the file on him, but not really the file. Like the operation on him was called um, Operation Lantern Spike. Like that was his file, and I think I'm pretty sure there's like an official investigation that's going to come out in 2027, with the Freedom of Information Act.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, but I'm not really too. I'm pretty sure it's 2027. Yep. Here we go. And this is an FBI investigation. It's already gonna have a whole bunch of whiteout and shit like that. J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was just pressed. Even like when you see his depiction of how he was in the Fred Hampton movie Black Messiah,
Mm-hmm.
he was a stickler for this. Like they dedicated their time to, um, unearthing like what's really going on. But at the same,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We can get there, but
So don't that kind of answer your question though? Like I know you said it ain't really well. I mean, at the bottom, at the base of it, it is white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? At the basis of it. At the basis of it. At the
uh,
base.
yeah, I can see what you're saying, but he was being allowed to rock for X amount of time leading up to that. You know what I'm saying? They were tailing him, getting this and that information, phone calls, speeches, all that stuff. You was shaking hands with certain people.
Oh yeah,
You was in the
was.
you was talking to Lyndon B. Johnson, all that shit.
Right, I was
So
about to say that Lyndon B. I would say this. So he was non. I think there was a hint if you look up if you do a little research or whatever. I think there was a hint that yeah, of course he was non-violent, but I think towards the end, I think he was. I've seen some shit where they was talking about how he had guns or whatever. He might have had some guns or whatever in the churches or whatever. He was. I think he had started. I think he got his permit or whatever to start carrying unconcealed weapons and shit. And he has a lot of followers. And I think like the year before he died or whatever, that's when I think riots started breaking out a lot or whatever. And maybe he was able to rock beforehand when everyone knew he was nonviolent. But then you start having these riots or whatever, and he's got a lot of followers. He's got people following. He got black and white people following him now. So it might have originally. I think yeah, it is definitely the basis of investigating him and all that other shit and following him around. It started out as white supremacy, but then I think it got a little bit bigger than just that
hmm.
because of his following.
And I
Hmm.
also
But
remember this.
even with I was gonna say, even with what was the movement they had, the poor people movement or whatever, he had black and white folks in that joint. So I
Yeah, I
think he
mean,
got a little. They say as they say, he got a little too big for his britches or
okay,
whatever.
yeah. So yeah, but go ahead, Marcus.
No, I mean, remember, like, I think that was that famous quote they said, like, not too long before he died. He was saying something about, like, oh, I'm afraid I'll walk my people into a burning building. Because I
Hmm.
remember they were saying something like he started to change his whole approach and his whole outlook, like, closer to his death. And, saying that he was,
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. Wow. Right there,
Hmm.
ready for, yeah, exactly. And I guess his approach was starting to change. And I guess that maybe had what led to, people coming after him. So.
Hmm.
They were saying he actually started to become more militant
Yeah,
towards the end, rather than he started to go away from that peaceful
but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
he started going away from that, and I guess that's when things started changing.
Hmm.
I remember like there was one article that I was reading where he like the way he was presenting himself early on, he wanted to be militant, but he also wanted like his following to be also docile at the same time. So like when he kind of like let that avenue down, that's when people started because I don't know because like you could kind of look at him because he was kind of like anti Malcolm X. So
Yeah.
they would kind of rather him being, you know,
Yeah.
kind of like I don't want to say it, the wrangler. You know what I'm saying? You don't want
Yeah.
people uh burning shit in the streets and shit like that. Even though they do that
Right.
shit now and they don't do a damn thing, but they would rather people peacefully protest because that shit don't do it don't do too much in the end. but being violent don't really do too much in the end. So like, what's I don't know. What's the avenue?
Maybe it could have been the case. I mean, obviously we're hypothetically speaking right now, but this could have been the case of good cop, bad cop. You know, like one guy's going to appeal to the more militant, type
Right.
people that and then one guy's going to appeal to the people that want to like, let's wait this out, let's chill, and keeps you chasing that end and they chasing that tail, and it's like really no solutions being made in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So,
What's up, boo boy?
Yo.
What's up, gang? How y'all feeling, man? Good to see y'all.
what's up? What's up?
All right. So
Yeah.
yeah, if we already know what the crime is, and the U.S. government pretty much was found guilty in doing the crime. What do you think the motive was in the crime to take this man out?
Uh, Me personally, I think um the motive was all right. So you get everybody. All right. So you did our plan. Get everybody to stay on the same page.
Who's
Do the
playing?
our plan, not our plan, but
Okay.
their plan. you know, keep everybody together. I have a dream. Oh, okay. Get us all in one room. The build up, the hype. All right, and then I figured he was like, you know what? Nah, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's really get these people into DC, and because, like Mark said, he can get that many people to follow him,
Mm-hmm.
and because your message is now is not as radical as Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
However, you talking about like let's go get our money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He said, "Let's go cash these checks."
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And if you
Yeah.
get a mass
Yeah,
people
he
on the
did.
same page, because look what they did with the buses. That's what I'm saying. Imagine if they could use how they boycotted the buses, that
Mm-hmm.
whole strategy onto
Mm-hmm.
True.
everything else. You know what I'm saying? Then that would have made. I mean, they were afraid, and it would have because at that time too, um, Martin Luther
Did
King
they
was
have the
making.
mafia back then? I'm sorry, to cut you off. Did they have mafia back? So did the mafia had? Well, I didn't. I mean, did they have unions back then? Because mafias are usually in charge of unions. So if you like taking like jobs like buses or because I think it was a sanitation
Hmm.
march too back then too. So if you taking the
Hmm.
union, that means the union is not getting their percentage of
Hmm.
regular Joe workers and shit like that. So you could see how the mafia was involved with the PD. I mean Memphis PD and FBI and all that shit. But my fault. Go
Right.
ahead.
Nah, you good. I mean, that's exactly it.
Mhm.
I don't know, but yeah, that like it's and it's so crazy because it's like it's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? Because the
Hmm.
mafia, because after watching that video, man, you see how many people actually is tapped in, and then you see actually, oh no, it's not just I had a dream. People hated him for that, but just like with every other, you know what I'm saying, great black leader, there's always somebody put in place to infiltrate and to take that person down, bro.
That might be it though, because I definitely forgot. I don't know. I didn't forget, but I think you hit it on the head with the boycotts, because I think they fucked up a lot of people's money with the boycotts. A lot of businesses was struggling with them boycotts,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and
I think that's the
yeah.
direction he was trying. Well, that's the direction he was going in. You know what I'm saying?
Poor people's
Hmm.
movement.
Hmm.
And just like what Fred Hampton did, when you get it's now we're not just talking about black people. We're talking about
Poor
a
people.
mass,
Yeah.
exactly a bigger mass of people, and predominantly of them are black. But just I mean, those two, you getting people to get on the same page. It's like, hold up, all right,
Right.
now you're moving too fast.
And that's how you kind of like are throwing people in the loop. Now you making everything black and white, and that's kind of how you make it's the distraction. You gotta realize like we all in this together because the 1% is just caking up off of all of us. And if as
Hmm.
long as they keep us in this game, this matrix of going back and forth, yeah, they got us good. But yeah.
Hmm.
Says it has been suggested that the boycott cost the city of Montgomery $3,000 a day, and what's that? I wonder how much that is. Cause y'all know how long that joint lasted for?
No idea.
Mm-mm.
And 3,000 is some cash back then.
P laying down.
Because it's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Because
Oh man, he got the red light on. Boy, get out of here.
Red light special. It's a special
um,
tonight.
it's
but
crazy because some of the tactics that they was using too for that boycott is like,
man,
13 months, less than 13 months.
dang.
this quote was pulled in 1912. We must realize that our party's most powerful weapon is racial tension by propounding to the consciousness of the dark races that for centuries they have been oppressed by whites. We can mold them into program of Communist Party.
Mm,
I mean, that's what's going on right now. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly what's
this
happening
is
right now.
Yeah.
1912.
This is 1912, and that's
Yeah.
exactly so. They've been playing the same game from the right, from
Almost.
the very beginning.
Oh
Mhm.
a
yeah.
hundred years ago, damn near.
Now they're using the vaccine and race for real,
Yeah.
pretty much trying to separate everybody.
You see, Joe Biden today said George Floyd had a bigger impact than MLK on MLK Day. Yeah.
Oh
Disrespect.
shit.
Yeah,
Disrespect.
hey, put that last joint back up. The last joint you just had.
Mhm.
Disrespect.
I mean, but the reason why he said that is because he's trying to, like you said, propounding into the consciousness of the dark races. So he's basically trying to mold the minds of the kids into the future because they didn't see Martin Luther King, they saw George
Right.
Floyd. So now by him saying that that's a bigger, more important thing, these kids are going to feel like that. Propounding into the consciousness of their blackness or whatever. It's like he's, basically saying this is more important. Young black people. This George Floyd thing is, what I'm saying? Like he's just
Hmm.
Right.
kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He's passing the baton on to the future of the symbolism of your oppression, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
But it says, while inflaming the Negro minority against the whites, we will endeavor to instill in the whites a guilt complex for their exploitation of the Negroes. So that's what that whole white man's burden or white man's guilt come from, a white guilt, the term. So they're basically saying playing this racial game is going to create white guilt and also like pretty much create a victim mentality in the minds of the dark races
Oh yeah.
all at the same time.
Yeah, so I think what we're talking about now is as far as like the messing with people's pockets in the grand scheme of things
Yeah.
was
Oh
probably
yeah.
like was
Hmm.
was maybe the final straw, but I do think like when he started talking about how it wasn't like a civil rights issue and he started talking about the Vietnam War and poor people, and that was kind of like the shit that
Hmm.
Hey, but
things back.
do you see how I'm sorry, I'm still reading this quote. Like this, like this shit is deep. This nigga said, look, he said, we will aid the Negroes to rise in prominence in every walk of life in the professions in the world of sports and entertainment. With this
Yep.
prestige, so listen, with this prestige, the Negro will intermarry with the whites. In other words, Justin Bieber, Eminem, Elvis. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Oh
So
yeah.
now,
Post Malone.
so
Damn.
now what we did is we put these black men on a pedestal. We got these NBA players. So now these black people are kind of in the consciousness of the average white person that's growing up in America. And then through these black people, we can push our agendas, which will naturally turn white people to follow the same path that we kind of
Exactly.
like.
Right.
Black people are kind of like the pawns, and they're using black people to manipulate the rest of the country. That's what it says.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Everything. They come to black people for everything. From
It's
the
happening right
shopping.
now.
Yeah.
That's why they focus on the NBA and the NFL to push all these narratives. That's why they don't really I mean, obviously they show in the other sports, but it's fully pushed where the black male athletes or not even that, even the WNBA, where the black
Yep.
athletes, whatever, that's where they push it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I agree.
In the music, it's all there.
It's all a circus, man.
Yeah, this is him marching with or against the Vietnam War. But yes, a good book, and Martin Luther King kind of had this relationship about with this dude, with this author. His name is Dr. Pepper, not the drink, but Dr. William Pepper, The Plot to
I'm,
Kill King. He wrote the book, but he had wrote like articles and stuff about the Vietnam War, and that's how they got together. But yeah, that's like when he kind of turned the corner about, what I'm saying, this shit is wrong. We waging war. I mean, he said, America is the biggest purveyor of violence. The United States. The United States government is the greatest purveyor of violence in the world. So yeah. So when you start talking about bigger issues, on a world scale, so
he got away from
so
just
that kind of like what Biden said today.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm saying Martin Luther King's talking about issues of your whole military and industrial complex waging war for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? Other than that makes money. He's talking about these issues right here on a world
Yeah.
scale, but somehow George Floyd is a bigger issue. That just makes the whole last quote valid. You know what I'm saying?
But and even on top of that, I mean, if we can go even further, because who back during the Martin Luther King days, who was fighting for sexual rights? So that wasn't even an issue. It was about just equality. It was about poor people. It was about like now all of a sudden in 2022 during these days, all this sexual shit is getting thrown in the mix with the civil rights and the fight. Like, so how the hell did it go from what the people was fighting for in the 60s, Martin Luther King, all them? Now all of a sudden it's fast forward to some sexual shit. Like how did that happen?
And still ain't solved nothing.
And still ain't solved shit. But if anything, it ain't about us, because every time I turn on the television, it's mostly about, sexual freedom.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like they sweep the whole race factor under the work, and not even sweep it under the work, but they use the sexploitate, like all of the sex stuff, to even talk about anything race. Because if you're black, if you're different, if you like this person, if you like what the hell does that have to do? Like a lot of these things are choices. You know what I'm saying? Like things that and then to push it on the youth, it's like if you do your thing, but like you're telling kids need to know about a choice. No, kids need to know about
math and science and playing outside.
hell, not even that. Taxes, equity, some real stuff, some real stuff. You know what I'm saying? But no, we can't do that. We need to. My son needs to be in school more concerned with his emotions and craziness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with being individual, but come on, y'all.
Yeah, and that's another thing you're talking about. Equity and all that stuff. I think one of his last speeches was also like in a Mason Lodge, but
it was.
But he was talking about they should put more money into like local banks, not these centralized banks, and Memphis and stuff, and how it's going to be easier for them to acquire land and stuff, shit like that. And that's the whole thing about talking about cash and checks. He was demanding what was promised after the Civil War about the 40 acres and the mule and all that stuff.
Yep. Oh man, that's
all right. So, but it's so funny that you're saying, because what they was fighting for back in the 60s was a direct like result of some shit that they actually was living through. You know what I'm saying? But this shit that we've been fighting for today, that's why the gay shit and all that sexual shit is getting mixed in with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the same shit. They was actually fighting for something real. They was like, oh shit, we was promised this after this war. These people today, that these people marching and fighting all that shit, this ain't the same battle. This is not. We're not fighting over the same things.
No, man, and it's to create confusion though too. Yeah. Create confusion, and then it almost gives you. It's like no direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so open ended and just there's no solution.
But this is what they do, though. What they'll do is that they'll use some quotes from Malcolm X. They'll use some quotes from Martin Luther King, who was fighting over some real shit, and then apply it to some shit that happened to like an NBA player in 2021.
Right.
And then try to act like it's the same shit that was going on with those people was getting hosed down and sick got dark. And they'll try to make it seem like it's the same shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same fight. It's not the same battle.
That's what goes to show you too. Look how far they had to reach back to get a quote.
That's why they keep going back there. That's why every year in Black History Month, what are you learning about the 60s over and over and over and over and over? They're not telling you about the shit. So it's like, I was like, we're just going to teach our niggas about the 60s and George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying?
They never teach you about a solution. There's no forward movement on that shit from the 60s. Everything else. So it's just like
keep you in the loop, nigga.
Keep
you in the loop. I seen some shit with James Brown. They was even saying, like, even James Brown, when he came out with that song, I'm Black and I'm Proud, they said, give the blacks something to just to, Like it was like that was a COINTELPRO song or some shit like that. It was like that was like part of the like here get these blacks just something to like a token, some what I'm saying, make them feel good for a moment, distract them, and then what we got I Stay Woke. We got these songs that come out, and that's the same shit, nigga. It's like it's a cycle. It never goes away. It's just gonna keep.
That's a song. I Stay Woke.
You know that song? You know what song I'm talking about? What's it with Donald Glover, whatever his name? What's that saying? That
this is America or something.
This is another other joint. I Stay Woke. What's the name? It's called some other shit.
Oh yeah, Stay Woke. It's just called.
What's the name of the joint?
I ain't never heard it.
It's
I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
Yeah,
it's called something else though. But that song, yeah. How y'all don't know that song? All y'all heard that
song. Nah, I heard that shit.
Nigga, you heard that
probably something I don't want to hear.
No, you had the shit was everywhere.
Yeah.
That song. There you go.
Oh, okay.
That song.
Donald Glover over there.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is, when it came out, was right in the middle of all that unrest. You know what I'm saying? It's the same exact shit. And then that other girl, I Rise Up, that girl that made that song, I Rise Up. It's like a fucking a soundtrack to the news stories.
That was a soundtrack, I think.
But this is all theater, young. Like all this shit that we going through, all this is social engineering. This is all theater. This is to keep us distracted, keep us on the hamster wheel.
Okay, did you think it was still theater back then? Because like it was James Brown, you know what I mean? That was the soundtrack. I'm Black and I'm Proud. He's meeting with the president. I think he was meeting with Nixon prior to this time, and then Martin Luther King had a relationship with Lyndon B. Johnson. I think Kennedy too, and all these guys are in secret societies. They're in the Boule, and they Freemasons, all that stuff.
All right, okay. So what's the difference? All right, and I'm just like I said, we just talking. Like, so what if that James Brown song ain't no different from they saying, oh shit, let's get Cardi B to just drop like a civil rights twerk song. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying though. But I'm saying
I wouldn't be shocked, bro.
But I'm saying is that entertainers have always been used for the same purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's just to keep the people, docile pretty much, and
I think some people get into it, right? And they be like, you know what? I cannot go to sleep every night knowing what I know without at least trying to say something or going out my way. And then you get those who like how MLK was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just tell these people we going to DC and take what's ours. And then you see what happened when you do something like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you overstep your boundaries, it's like they hush you. But then when you stay intact, all you can do is say it loud. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. There you go. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there you go. You couldn't say that no better. Like that, and we'll be happy with the I Say It Loud and I'm Black and I'm Proud. Like, yeah, nigga, we stuck it to him with that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that I'll feel like a victory. That will feel like a fucking victory.
It's always just
like to some people when Cardi B was doing the interview with Joe Biden and Kamala or whatever, some people was like, oh, they looked at it as a victory. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that Cardi B actually, I think she interviewed him, Joe Biden, if I'm not mistaken. That shit was a victory to some people. So that's what I'm saying. Like they use these entertainers to just keep us in the loop, man.
And that's how they played that shit anyway, though. Even with that whole scheme, like, yeah, let's get Cardi B in here. Ex-stripper came from blah blah blah. Now she's successful in this realm. Like, said all the time, bro.
Ain't it crazy though how when you get that right, and then you get somebody like an Ice Cube who not on any side, but he's literally just saying, "Look, Black America, this is what I want," and then he gets. Oh, this nigga cool.
Roasted.
I know. He got destroyed. He got destroyed, but we was celebrating Cardi B. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Either. I swear, it's like modern day witch hunt shit, man.
Yeah.
In the cancel culture, they're made it worse. If you don't like, and people feel like their opinion is right. People don't even listen to the information that's given. It's not even a balance. It's either blame game shit or I'm right, you wrong. Like that's how they always try to evaluate and compare situations and shit. Nobody's even stopping to hear the other person and digest it. It's just pointing the fingers and blaming shit, man. Like we ain't gonna win like that at all. Nobody's even being receptive to each other.
And then they can't be receptive because every time a small bit of information comes out that's different from what they know or who they are, they get defensive and then they can't.
Process
Right.
it.
Exactly. And
that's
that's
killing me
why
too.
everybody gonna be so continue to stay divided. Because it's not like one side is just saying it. Like, to be honest, it's like fuck it at this point. Like, we just gotta keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Because if you keep beating the dead horse, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those that are gonna be left behind are just gonna be left behind for real. Like, if you haven't reached that level of consciousness yet, it's just like, man, and I keep saying this, that Don't Look Up movie hits everything like right on the head. It's almost scary. It's scary how like people are just dumbed down and just don't even take anything serious. I'm talking about that
I
was
gotta
a
watch that
world
joint again.
event.
Hey, we was
Gotta
talking about
sleep
that
on
on
that
that one episode when we was talking about when the government basically admitted that there was aliens and niggas was like, okay, like, damn, what the fuck?
Even
Like, bro, they
man,
told
you
us there's
right, though.
aliens out this bitch. Nobody gave a fuck. That shit
Pretty
is
much,
crazy.
man.
Like,
Pretty
even
much.
right now, how they putting
that
out the NASA's getting, groups of taking in group of people just to see how the first encounter with aliens and stuff is gonna be. Like, this is stuff that's really happening.
Right.
Like, they're doing. But like, everybody's just like, oh, I knew it happened someday. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like,
Non-believers are now believing a week after they heard some shit. But you can have a casual
That means the government
conversation.
did their job. The government did their
Yeah.
job. They put all these movies out and everything, and
Exactly. They broke through to them. But that's only to the weak mind, though, man. Like, it's almost, how do I describe that shit? You could always feed a weak mind because they're going to be receptive to that shit. You know what I'm saying? That they're going to feel like that's real fact. But real is when you feel that shit. I always tell people, man, if you can't feel that, or if it's no inkling behind that shit, it's a false narrative. You know what I mean? And then, like, chasing that shit and put more energy in it behind it, or I mean after the fact, is just crazy to me, man. Like, people are so lazy they don't even do the research.
But what you was earlier though, Randall, you were saying was it theater back then? I think it's always been theater. I think because remember that, like you said, that article you showed earlier that was in 1912. James Brown was popular 40 years after that. So that means that they've been using athletes, they've been using entertainers for the longest time. You know what I'm saying? There's some videos out there that talk about James Brown, Sam Cooke, that whole era. Like, they was same shit. Them niggas was getting the same. Nothing else has changed.
But
same exact story.
But that's what the Romans did, right? When they would be at war, they'll get the lions to, chase and get the gladiators out, just to keep people dumbfounded and not to question their real motives. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Entertain them.
Yeah.
And then they put the people in control somewhat because the people decide if you live or die. So of course you're gonna be engaged with some shit like that, which is also so terrible if you think about that shit. Like, God damn, man.
I
like,
swear.
Just the barbaric shit we be, man. I be looking at, like, even periods of history. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we was on some shit every moment of this existence on this planet, man.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, once you see it, it's like it's hard to unsee shit. It's like, damn.
Yep, exactly. But that's how. But isn't that how it goes though? Once you see the truth, you can't get
never
away
not
from
see
something
it.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's what Neo said on the Matrix, ain't it?
Man, you seen that new one?
Said that thing, all right. It's a little long, and the story was a little, but
yeah, I feel like they could have did better.
I still gotta
with
see that, John.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
but just like you said, there's always room for improvement. It had potential to be.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like the joint though.
Yeah, it was like bad. But just like you said, when you know, they could have expanded on some shit.
Hey, but Phil, you blowing me, dog. You gotta sit up, dog.
Man, you know what's so crazy?
Sit up.
Like, I randomly just caught like a fucking headache, like right before I was even about to get on this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? No COVID shit or anything. Yeah, man, it's just I'll be
I,
up in a minute.
I'm pretty sure
We
this.
we
Yeah,
gonna
all
let
right.
you rock, bro.
This is the file of the Operation Lantern Spike.
What's it called? Lantern Spike.
Yeah, and why does John say Maryland too? Fort
Oh shit.
Holabird.
Oh, you know where we at, man.
Never heard of
Right.
that before.
I just
Right.
Fort
saw her phone
Hollywood.
Maryland
Bro,
too.
that shit canceled. That
U.S.
shit
Army
under a
Intelligence
swamp.
Yeah.
Command. Yeah.
Harriet Tubman was out here. You know where we at, man.
Oh, that's a new silver. That's the old Silver Spring.
It
Probably.
might be.
Yeah, he was being followed detail. What was that one article I had? Over 40.
Mm.
MLK takes secret FBI recordings, accused Martin Luther King of watching and laughing as a pastor. Yeah, like they was trying to like dismantle this man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they also sent him like a letter. Yeah, the FBI tried to send him a letter telling him to suicide himself before, and they told him he has 34 days in which to do this. If you read at the bottom
Wow.
here, yeah,
What the fuck? Damn.
this is from the FBI.
Yep.
King, there's only one way at the very bottom. King, there's only one thing left for you to do. You know what it
You
is.
will
You
get low
have
grade.
just 34 days in which you have to do this. Exact number has been selected for a specific reason. 34 days. Is it has it has practical significance. You are done. There is but one way for you. You better take it before your filthy, abnormal, fraudulent self is barred to the nation.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
man.
it's great.
King.
Who signed that letter? I want to know who signed that motherfucker.
I
What's it?
I don't know who, but Hoover was behind all
I'm
this
about to
shit.
say Hoover
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
signed that
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying
And
I
his
see it ain't no
freak ass, you
signature.
talking about somebody calling somebody a freak? He was a freak.
Nah, that's what they say all this is really about is to cover up his secret love life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And every time somebody would get closer, yeah, get him out
All
of
right,
here.
all right. So like if I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If MLK is like involved with
Huh.
Jacob Rothschild, right?
Yes. I was about to say that's who funded the
Uh,
happening. Keep
right.
going, sorry.
You got Jacob Rothschild. You got the Rolex on your arm right there. I got this from RolexMagazine.com too, by the way.
Wow.
You
He
know,
rocking that shit too.
you were Nelson Rockefeller. He spoke at his church. Well, not his church. Well, he was like a long-standing mayor in New York City, and yeah, he did speak at his church several times. And rubbing shoulders with these type of elite people, and you are part of some secret societies and shit like that.
I know Martin
That's
Luther
why,
King got a Grammy.
for real,
Yeah.
probably for a speech.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That
When he
makes
was
sense.
younger.
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah. He got stuff on like what's that jump Genius when they do like lyrics and stuff. So
Yeah.
he probably do. And then I mean you rubbing shoulders with these people, you in secret societies. Your last speech was in the Masonic temple. Do you think they kind of purvey him to do wild shit and then recorded him to have shit on him?
I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't think so.
That's how they get us all, man.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
about
but
to say. That's how they
but
get everybody.
yeah, but
That's how
I'm
they get
thinking
everybody.
I'm
Gotcha.
still he got too big for his
Breaking
britches
up
or whatever. He's trying to cash checks. Oh, my fault. He trying to cash checks and all that shit. You hanging out with the Rothschilds now.
Yeah.
Folks that's
I mean,
been getting
before,
money.
but they're funding. Hold on, before that though, his grandfather was a minister in the South, big Ebenezer Church. His father, minister, Ebenezer Church.
Ebenezer.
All
We got
these
one out here.
right, but if you want the black vote, all these political leaders will dump their money in the black church to get your vote. They do that shit to this day. So, and then he was sent up. He graduated high school like 15, went to Morehouse, then went up Boston University. The whole New England type. Yale, Skull and Bones.
Oh, so
Boulay,
you basically
all
saying
that
that
shit.
he was.
He's been groomed.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
You're basically saying that he was being groomed to be who he was
the entire time. He
But the
was
thing
he was
is-
selected to be the leader of like some type of theological or political type program and stuff like that. When he
So
was
you're saying he pushed back then?
when he was a youngin, and with all his constituents being white, so maybe he was just like Obama. He was groomed. So I don't know.
I mean, you got to look at it like even just in general. A lot of politicians overall, they don't just be coming out of the woodworks. Like a lot of these politicians have been groomed from children. Like a lot of these people who try to maintain power within their country or culture or whatever the fuck it may be, they literally will have a child. Be like, this child's going to be the next.
Right, you can't know wild
You
cards.
know, yeah, this child's going to be the next governor of whatever. Or, you know what I'm saying? This child's going to be the next. Because just think about that shit. Like you were saying, Randall, they can't have no wild cards. I told you, I've been to schools in D.C. that was like straight up, they didn't even have American flags in the classrooms. They had, rainbow flags in the classroom. So you mean to tell it, those kids are going to be your future politicians. You know what I'm saying? Because they're being groomed from a young age. And then they're going to go from elementary school with train these beliefs, middle school train these beliefs, high school train these beliefs, and then they go to college and it's all set for their like overall, perspective on the world is being molded to them at every level of school they go through. So I mean, you go from Georgetown J to Georgetown Prep to Georgetown University.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then
it's exactly like that.
From there
exactly
to Capitol
like
Hill.
That.
From there to Capitol
exactly.
Hill.
Then to Capitol Hill.
Wow. But Corey, I'm not saying like he didn't, because the nigga he's too damn smart to at one point think like I am getting fucking played right now.
He called him the nigga though. Well, go ahead.
Come on, bro. Come on. You don't think
that's MLK, dog? That's MLK. Right. We can't do that.
You don't think when he playing craps and he like, come on, like
come on, nigga.
All right now.
But still, that's what I'm saying. Like he's way too intelligent to even, excel at that level, and then think at one point, I'm getting played right now. It's time to switch the script. Even like when
when at
one point, like when I'm thinking about like we was doing like music back in the day and we rapping and shit. Of course, I'm gonna talk about bitches and cars and shit like that. But at one point, I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm gonna switch this shit up one day. When we get like a whole bunch of listeners, I'm gonna switch this shit up. I'm gonna talk like some real shit, some real shit. Mm-hmm. Once I get the listeners, because you can't come on the scene and get listeners like that. So I don't know. I'll be battling with this whole idea when I was doing this research. Was he groomed the whole way, and then he switched up his plan, or was that his plan to begin with?
I think that he was groomed a certain way, and I think he started to wake up to what he was creating, and I think then he started to rebel against that, and then I think that's what happened.
Right. Because you can't talk that way so passionately and then not feel a certain way. Like, you know what? We do got something here. Shit is real fucked up. I mean, and the Dr. Pepper dude showed him all these pictures and stuff when he came back from Vietnam. He's like, you know what, bro? Like, this shit is wrong. And like, he did flip the switch and he started talking about poverty and banks and erasing that, that top half and even in the playing field. So, yeah.
I feel like everybody that got taken out at some point, starting or going all the way up to Abraham Lincoln, had that switch go off in their head. Like, even though they were getting shit from the jump, but
JFK.
I mean, that's what some people were saying. Yeah. He started going against the establishment, and then that's when he got taken out too.
Because he talked about secret societies. He
used to talk about that shit too.
Weather control. He talked about all of that.
And he has a lot of connections with the whole, the mafia and his assassination. And also it was one dude that was connected to the Charles Ray guy, the alleged shooter, who wasn't the shooter. He wasn't the shooter at all. But the dude that was pretty much his handler, a guy named Raul, and that's all they call him. His name was Raul, and he was an FBI or some type of intelligence agent. And he was also, he knew, God damn, what was that guy's name? That he knew the guy that killed Oswald in front of everybody. You remember that video?
Yeah, but I never understand that.
Yeah, remember the guy that they thought killed Kennedy? He got shot before he went to jail.
Under the courthouse, around what, like almost 50-something number or more than that, police officers.
Yeah. They knew each other, so they was like their two stories are very close related. as far as like the whole intelligence aspect.
Hey, but I think you hit on something though when you Randall, when you went on the whole, like, you know, his background and how he was raised up. He finished school at 15. I think that sounds like somebody who was being
He was being groomed, right?
raised. He was being groomed 100%, 100%.
Because I always thought, like, dang, Martin Luther King, he came up as a black president, but I don't think he really had it hard till he put himself in harm's way.
I mean, he's wearing a Rolex. They
I mean,
ain't something light.
Back in
You
the
know what I'm
day.
saying? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us, just regular, you know, us average citizens or whatever, we underestimate what people will go to maintain power. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Where they will literally create a child, and like, this child right here is going to help us maintain our power. We're going to groom them from you know, from an infant to a young adult to a politician to the next president. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about this country. I'm talking about all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think all people in power do this shit. This ain't like, it's not, I don't even think it's a conspiracy theory to think like this. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
you ever read the book?
It's common sense, damn near.
Y'all read the book or seen the movie The Giver?
I think I've read a little bit of that book a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm
But
thinking like
it's-
Snoop. Yeah.
exactly what you're saying though, Marcus. It's like
Yeah.
all of the kids are being groomed to be something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too perfect.
hmm
It's wild, bro. But that's
Yeah.
exactly what it sounds like though.
And then even like this thing right here, isn't this kind of reminiscent of like the little topic we talked about in the summer, the whole black and Jewish
Yeah. Basically,
alignment.
the entertainment industry, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Tiffany Haddish and Nick Cannon, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the entertainment, the whole entertainment industry, pretty much. There you go. It's the black face and the I guess the Jewish mind.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know?
dang. Like and then you think about the music industry, every major label had the entertainment and then they had the money. That's crazy.
I mean, think about who runs the music industry. What's his name? What's that dude's name?
Leor Cohen,
Leor Cohen, and then what's the other?
Jim,
Clive Davis,
Clive Davis,
yeah.
Jimmy Iovine.
Jimmy Iovine.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. That's the three names. You don't need to hear nothing else. And,
Yeah.
and none of them are black. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, come on. They run the whole industry.
Yeah. All right. So another motive, people will say, and Corey, he's missing out because I think this is a topic he always like talking about. Along with the ran to a burning house, you could also say that his people are find them exile in their own land. The Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. People want to think that is like Black Americans are already here, form birthrights and nationality. Right, Simo?
Yep.
This was also in his letter from Birmingham jail. We reached the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up with the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him
So
saying
is this King saying this right here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was he was in jail or lying.
Okay, so
right.
I mean, I'm not saying, you know, but look at what he's telling you right now. Look at what he's telling you. So, okay, so where did that whole term African American come from? Because remember, we were always referred to as the Negroes. So that even that term African American is kind of like less than maybe 50 years old, 60 years old, because we were always referred to as Negroes before that.
who did that? Jesse Jackson? Yeah.
Right? That term African American. When did that
Yeah.
actually start?
Yeah.
That was
Jesse Jackson.
yeah, Jesse Jackson. That was you right, about 60 years.
But yeah, so I mean, and then listening to what King's saying, I don't sound like he talking about we came from Africa if he said we was already here, based off what he's saying, So maybe Jesse Jackson was like, oh man, people starting to wake up. Like, let me, nah, y'all African American. Like, don't listen to what he's saying.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
And Jesse was there on
Jesse was there the whole time.
And he was there on the second floor of the Lorraine Motel where King got shot. And people say he set him up with other black leaders on that thing. And they was at room 306. Yeah,
Oh,
306.
6. Yep.
Put that together. 3-6. And
Might be
but yeah.
good.
And again, Jesse Jackson, Mason, Boulay.
Jesse Jackson, look at him. That boy.
Mm-hmm. Anytime there's black struggle in the media, yep.
It's
He out
him.
here.
It's
Him,
Crump.
Al
Him
Sharpton.
and Crump.
Yep, Benjamin
And Al
Crump.
Sharpton
Benjamin
even
Crump,
came out and said he was a FBI informant.
Yeah, he
He
straight
is
up
a
said
F-
that.
Yeah,
He
he
said
He is
that.
a FBI
He straight up
informant.
said that.
Like, and then like he still be popping up with black people. I be like, why y'all calling this man? We're going to be
Because
there
we've
for
been
the family.
we've been conditioned to look at Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton as like kind of like symbolic leaders or figures of the figureheads of the black community. So even when shit like that come out, it's like it's not going to really register because you kind of already accepted him as a leader,
and
like
that's
on a subconscious level. You already accepted him.
Son, when
And that's what
Obama
pissed me
won a
off.
second term and Jesse Jackson was in the crowd trying to touch
Crying.
his man for like 45 minutes, like trying to get his attention. I knew
Yeah.
because Obama ain't want to be like bothered. You know that like this nigga keep following me.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
Obama.
This nigga here.
Your groupie.
What's up with that man?
Yep. For my security.
Right.
But you're right. But these black figures, you know how like we identify them as figures in the black community and everything. I don't want to say they haven't contributed, but they ain't do nothing that was just a breakthrough to the point. It's more talk than action with them motherfuckers, man. Like they kind of, I don't know.
I mean, but what?
It's like we
but,
talk about
yeah.
reparations and everything else like that, and they do get behind any current event that happens.
Yep.
But it's just like where
What does it lead to?
You're right. If you look at their timeline, what was just a defining moment where it was like, yes, he did this for the community, and it shaped this, which is now for the future or whatever. It don't really happen.
It's because I think the purpose of people like that, their whole job is to keep us on the hamster wheel. Like they keep us. It's like kind of like they're like ushering our emotions into confusion. You know what I'm saying? It's like their job. You know what I'm saying?
Since they're popular, we identify with them. They're the gatekeeper.
Exactly. Gatekeeper. That's a perfect word. That's what they are. They're kind of like the boule. That's what the boule is. It's like the middle ground between the elites and the black population. Boule. That's what they are.
A wrangler.
All right, and since we on that topic, all right, so because we're talking about the establishment, the elites, right? So they still gave Martin Luther King a holiday that we celebrate every year, right? So then we would think, right, this is so-called, there has to be a catch, right? If they would give him a holiday, wouldn't there be a catch to it?
It's even crazy though, and I always it's so easy to overlook. In every inner city, it's an MLK boulevard.
Damn, I didn't think about that.
That's probably one of the worst.
But that's the truth, and it's always a bad neighborhood too.
And every inner city
street,
boulevard.
I hate you because you just said that.
Yeah,
that's real though. That's some real shit.
I'm not gonna be able to get over that one.
Yeah, boulevard. That's some real shit.
Yeah, the boulevard. Wow, that was a jewel right there.
Yeah, that's some
what?
Real
shit.
And they be in every city, like you said.
Every city.
Every city, bro. Every city.
But yeah, like today, I mean, for every MLK Day, for here on out, you just gonna get straight up NBA basketball all day too. So
damn,
I know, man.
Watermelon, chicken, shit. Might as well. All we missing is a cookout.
Hey, was y'all getting a lot of happy MLK from like random people today? Did y'all get any of that?
Nah, people just actually mean today.
I got a couple happy MLK days.
Bro, I don't think I've ever gotten a happy.
I don't think I ever did
from nobody.
Yeah, I got one. You usually be like older people. I got one from a white lady, believe it or not.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That makes sense. That makes
sense. Bless her heart.
They be hey, it's your day.
We'll celebrate now.
Bless her heart. But yeah, but that's what it just had me thinking. Like if you went through a whole initiation period, whether it's Freemasonry or Boule or both. I mean, there had to be a point where they're gonna ask for a favor, and like how many times a favor is, because like, you could hear it like in the his final speeches, or I think the last one, he's like, I'm not scared of no man and stuff like that. So he knew it was coming. He knew what he was doing. His
Yep.
consequences.
Yep.
I don't know if he knew how close the enemies were, as far as like the people in his corner, as far as Jesse Jackson, or what I mean. Because they said they even took like his normal detail, his security detail off that day.
Yeah.
And they usually stay at
churches and stuff.
Churches, friends of families, friends of friends of families. So it's protected, and you know what I'm saying, they know who they're at. And they took him at a hotel, wide in the open, second floor.
Fucking balcony and shit.
Yeah, he's looking at the shot. King's looking from the shot.
You think he knew what time it was?
I think he knew. I think he knew. He knew what time it was going to be, but he didn't know the exact time. Yeah,
he thought after Washington. I think he thought after he got to Washington, laid the poor people's speech down, then it was going to be some real jungle. But that
they got him before.
Dang.
Yeah.
But y'all don't think like even people like him, or people who are kind of put in place, because even in that article the dude says something like, you could have been our greatest leader, but you started going against the grain and we have to finish you. So like them niggas knew, like, they kind of knew like you were groomed to be a leader, you know what I'm saying? And then you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So you don't think like people like him is like kind of like, it's like the Truman Show, where it's like everybody around them is actors, they're like their whole life.
Especially if you just look at that final picture, I want to pull it up. If you look at that final picture when he shot and all them pointing up, but if you looked at previous pictures, he's looking down, like and people are saying that the gunman came from downward, and if it hit him in his neck like upwards like that, it had to come from down, and all them pointing up. And then you hear like in the video I sent y'all with Dick Gregory, and you heard the one guy that was there, and he said he moved out the way for them to get a better shot.
He said he moved out the way so you can get a clear shot. So then the shots rang off. He said some shit like that.
And then the dude that they blame, the patsy, Earl Ray, he's a fucking career petty, low life criminal, shoplifter, bank robber, and he was out on the Dixie Mafia pretty much broke him out of jail and brought him there to take the fall, and they wrapped up a gun that wasn't the same gun, and the police department was involved and all that shit. So
but ain't that how it always go? They always take like these low life petty crime. Well, I mean, even though
take
that
the fall
shit, they always do. It's like motherfucker, you clearly ain't shit. Don't nobody give a fuck about you. Just gonna use you as. And
you don't have no skill to pull off some shit like that. One shot and get the job done.
Even when
expenses.
When we was watching what's it called, Judas and the Black Messiah, like how like they turned the one, he was just a little car thief. Right. They turned him into an informant, just like that. It's like I feel like that's how they kind of always do these guys. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Whoever's closest.
Yep. And I even heard that there was multiple teams there to take the shit out, and just the one that got him active first. So all these spy movies that we watch, there'll be multiple teams, and then you know what I'm saying, you didn't know that a team was there while you was there, but you still carrying out the same mission.
Hey, young, can you imagine living? Can you imagine living with that pressure, young, where you got like not just people, you got like 6 organizations all want to take you out, and then these niggas like all show up at the same spot at the same time, and it's just about who pulled the trigger first. Like damn, nigga, like that's real pressure. Like if you like, but look, if you trying to change the world, bro, you gotta live with that type.
I heard that. They shot him or whatever. But I've also heard. But have y'all also heard that? He got shot. The
hospital. They took him out.
He made it to the hospital. They took him out of the hospital.
Yeah. And they said, all right, when he got shot, there was
they just didn't want to operate on him or whatever.
Nah, but since he. But to make it to the hospital, since he got shot, there was already police officers there because they was watching him the whole time. Right. So when he got shot, people was already running up the stairs protecting him and cradling him, taking him to the hospital. When he got to the hospital, there was a lady, they haven't revealed her name, that said there was like 40, 50 police officers there already, but 3 dudes was gained entry to the hospital room, a blank hospital room, no fucking, all the shits and giggles in the background, the whole respirator and all that shit. None of that shit was in there, and they smothered them right then and there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember, but remember when Michael Jackson died, Janet Jackson them came out and said he was murdered. You all remember?
Yeah.
She was like, it was like this was no accident. It was 100% on purpose. So I'm just
and
saying
on
that.
top of that, there was no autopsy. I ain't know that shit.
Oh, yo, Michael Jackson.
No,
Oh,
No,
MLK.
Martin Luther King.
MLK.
Oh,
Yeah,
for real. Oh
Mhm.
shit.
zero autopsy.
I know that.
Yeah,
Come on, man. I ain't see those are some. I should never assume that. Damn.
no
Mhm.
autopsy.
You gonna kill this man? Not even let us look at the body.
Tell this man sit up, dog. Tell this man sit up.
All I saw was an elbow. All I saw was I ain't
Hell,
nothing
you
else
too
but
much,
an elbow.
dog.
Yeah, it's a holiday. Chilling.
Today.
Lord.
Damn, that's wild.
Today.
But another crazy fact about the whole murder: his brother Alfred King died the next year. I think it was.
But yeah, they try to say he drowned and shit.
Yeah, he drowned.
Allegedly, he's an Olympic swimmer. Allegedly, no, I'm playing. I don't know.
I'm about
Oh
to say,
shit!
that nigga look like
I'm gonna
he
say,
smoked
was he?
I'm about to
Damn,
somebody.
say,
that's crazy.
He look
He
like
was-
the king. You don't mess with the.
Right. He was like, yeah, I'm with the shits.
Like,
Yeah, he
died.
looked like he fucked somebody up.
He died 9 days shy, but maybe he was digging around. You know what I'm saying? Like he was,
Yeah, I think they said he was. He was questioning motherfuckers
right,
and shit.
probably smacking people up, asking for answers.
Morehouse. Okay.
but wasn't his mother also gunned down?
Yes, she was shot in the church, but they said like a crazy
The grandmother, his grandmother.
No. His
No,
mother.
King's mother. King's mother.
Yeah,
King's
yeah.
mother. My bad.
Mhm.
They was trying to get
And
his
the
wife,
organs too.
Mhm.
Greta.
Yep. 9 days before 39, the same age MLK died at. So his name Alfred King.
Damn, they was trying to take them out.
Have y'all ever heard of the King Alfred
Nah.
plan? The King Alfred plan?
Mm-mm.
Nah.
Kind of shit. It's
I
like
heard of Alfred Hitchcock.
it's kind of like on the same lines of Rex 84. Y'all know what Rex 84 is? I know P. You know what Rex
Nah.
84 is.
I don't.
Spit that fire.
Some Colorado shit.
Nah. Hold up. Let me share this screen.
Lord knows, eyes needs a pillow.
King Alfred plan. Basically like a FEMA project where they were supposed to be rounding up in case there was like some unrest, racial unrest. You follow me?
No. So nobody know this. But we read it. I'm trying to read it though. I'm reading it though.
They was going to round people up in like concentration camps in case there was some racial unrest.
FEMA.
Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
FEMA in here.
Just like Rex 84.
Yeah.
You never heard Rex 84?
Nah, bro.
No, I never heard that.
Damn. That was like one of the first conspiracies. I was like, oh, hold up. There's something going on around here. Rex 84 is like a prepared action plan by FEMA in case there was some wild shit.
That's
Shit.
what all of those wooden coffins, all of those
Those
camps. Yeah.
concentration camps. A lot of them,
camps. Yeah,
they're connected
popping
by
up.
railroads too.
Yeah. And how a lot of these private owned businesses are the ones who's funding these camps.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know
Or
what you're
even
talking
if you look at now how Australia is handling the virus and their people they want to quarantine, they look like little camps.
about.
Rex 84 is a short readiness exercise. 1984 was classified scenario and drill developed by the United States federal government to detain large numbers of United States citizens deemed to be national security threats. So this came after the King Alfred plan, which is funny because what's the name? Martin Luther King's brother name is Alfred King. I don't know. I don't know why I connected it to it,
Damn.
but still.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it's racial unrest, and now it's national security threats. And King and all these black messiahs were considered national security threats.
Ha.
Yeah,
high level. It's crazy. You got men going around talking about actually pulling the community together and
Atlanta
uplifting
Spike
our
too.
people, and they the biggest threat. And and at large, running through the country with not one word being said to them is you got the Ku Klux Klan running rampant
Hmm.
at the same time.
But then, like, this is martial law, and then, like, they will make big events, like a 9/11 or
Hmm.
just basic riots
The
of
sinking
shit.
of the
Shit,
Titanic.
shit is way too out of control. We have to do
Mm.
something about it. Or pass a Patriot Act or some shit like that. Where
But
they
it'd
could
be
just
chaos that was they created.
right,
Yep.
exactly, and they can just detain you, and it's going to be
Hmm.
all legal.
Hmm.
Yeah, creating order through chaos
Hmm.
to create a new I guess a new direction.
Hmm.
And get you to believe in the patriotism of being an American just to buy into the whole thing. And you just, this, man, shit.
All right, so here's a question because I've said this before on the podcast 1,000 times, but I think that being poor or poverty or whatever is a part of the system. It makes the system go. You can't have this system without poor people. So if we let's say like MLK had the whole poor people's march to like try to like make it better for poor people, but like isn't that's kind of like going against the system? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it's like kind of like you can't have a capitalist society without having somebody who's at the bottom.
Right.
You need poor people to have capitalism. You need rich people to have capitalism. You cannot
Hmm.
have rich without poor. So if you're trying to end poverty, you're like kind of destroying
Going
the
against the
system.
grain, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
All
So
right, that
there,
makes sense.
there's no room for what you're trying
Oh
to
yeah,
achieve
yeah, yeah.
whatsoever.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely
yeah,
correct.
so that's what I'm saying. There's
That's the only
no
way
room.
capitalism works. Only way.
Yeah, so there's no room. So then, so if MLK had a poor people's march or whatever, like, isn't that symbolism of trying to bring down the system?
Right.
Because it might
Yeah.
be mad, it might be
Exactly.
masked in, oh, we're just trying to make it better for the poor, but making it better for the poor is breaking it down because you gotta have poor people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
In
saying?
order for their plan to work, yeah. And
You
I
need
guess that's why they
workers.
took him out. Dang.
You
But
need
that's
workers.
what I'm saying. Is
But
is that the only way to do it from within? Because you can't come on the scene talking about, what I'm saying, I want to do this and then expect to gain followers at that level.
Say that again. What's your
You,
question?
you, you cannot gain a mass following and then be backed by national media
when you're going against the
talking
grain,
yeah, going
Going
against the
against
grain. You
Mhm.
have to infiltrate from within, and then you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To establish a base. Because
I would agree with that.
if you try the other way around, first of all, you're gonna be standing on the ground by yourself because
Mhm.
nobody's gonna. Everybody, we live in this whole follow me society where there's no leaders, where everybody just follows. So if some one person looks left, everybody's looking left. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So you can't get to just jump out there as themselves and just say, "Hey, everybody, look this way," and everybody will just follow that. No, people need a reason. Well, hell, half of the time, people don't even need a reason. It could be the smallest, minute thing just to follow the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? So you do have to go in as, like I say, perfect example. I say Pink, the artist. A
Mhm.
lot of people know she came in as this
R&B, like,
R&B, yeah, and
yeah,
then
I
next thing
remember
you
that shit.
know, she was a rock star.
I
Like,
know, out of nowhere.
you know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah, I remember.
her soulful voice got her into the game, but
Hmm.
who she really was made her who she is. So it's like it sucks that you have to waste so much time and energy. I mean, what are you wasting time and energy? You know what I'm saying? Because at some point they said, I mean, so at some point, if it is that, his point was, I mean, he met his point. They took him out. You know what I'm saying? He ruffled the white feathers. I mean, unfortunately, but it just it should just like when you just think about it, it's like, damn, somebody just really like Tupac. Y'all want me to be a thug? I'm gonna be a thug. Now I'm a thug, but nah, really here, boom. Oh nah, you wild. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different scenarios where you could just say people come in a certain way.
So what was different between MLK's message? Like, okay, so remember when he was saying like, okay, we gonna go get these checks. So that was a change in the message. So what was his message first that they was okay with? It was a yes, continue to do that. Be Boule guy. Be the the
I
middle,
think
the wrangler, like you were saying. And
what
then when did
Black
that
people,
change?
we
Where he
just
stopped? Where he
wanted to
stopped
be
doing what they
equal.
wanted him to do?
That was
You know
his
what I'm saying?
message.
I
yeah, it was and it was a quote. It was a quote from him. I'm mad I didn't like screenshot it, but he was saying like, you know what I mean, I want to be, militant and inspirational enough, but I also want to make, it be, eloquent and make the people, I want to say docile, but that's how I read it. So they was okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like that saying? What they say? They say walk quietly but carry a big stick. You know that
Right, right,
saying?
right, right.
I forgot that what exactly if I'm saying it
Yeah.
the right way. But yeah,
And also he was, not the polar opposite, but opposites of, black militant groups, and Malcolm X and stuff like that. So they were okay with him. There was no way they was putting money behind, especially, they said when he started talking like this, so many supporters pulled their money out of him. So like there's no way Malcolm X was getting money, from, big corporations or, what I'm saying, shit like that. So
I think I think um what happened was it was because you got to think during this
the
time
whole time they
too.
like Prince and Michael Jackson, them too.
Stamp, yeah,
Yeah.
same thing, but I think at the same time you think about civil rights, so you're thinking about segregation and all of that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And that whole the Federal Reserve, that's when Federal Reserve is getting in and they starting to kick like, all right, we need these people to really because all right, you got the Black Wall Street, damn, their dollar standing in community and they're thriving. And shit,
Tear it
our
down.
people was
Yeah.
poor. Like the South was bad. Like to be honest, we was probably gonna have to do like how we had to do in the dark ages and bring them out of the dark ages because their shit was going down and we were thriving. And you had the mob running rampant through the United States, you know what I'm saying, at these times. So you get them in, hey, look, we need y'all to come together, help us out, and you got to be the peacemaker to get everybody to continue to pour that dollar into us. So
Right,
he
right, right,
does
right.
that, and then he finally sees like, hold up, so
Right. He
y'all
was,
tell me to do
yeah.
this, y'all still water, we being peaceful, y'all watering this down, y'all did it, and then he say if it wasn't even that, it was probably the lining, like, hold
Right.
up, y'all really pawning my ass out here on this
Right.
chessboard.
yeah,
Right.
And he said, okay, I'm gonna bark
exactly.
back. I'm gonna
Right.
bark back.
But who
He
knows? He might
yeah.
came to an awakening where he like looked back in his life like, nigga, I've been living in the Truman Show all this fucking
Mm-hmm.
time, And I think it's like he started to wake up, and then it's. I'm not trying to say it's the same, but it's kind of like that Kanye shit where it's like it seems like Kanye just has these random moments where it's like his soul peaks out and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wakes up
It's
just
like he
randomly.
wakes up, but then he'll go right back into programming.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking sometimes Kanye on the MLK. I mean not MLK, my bad.
I
MK
think
Ultra.
so.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
because
yeah.
sometimes it's like he be going along with the shit. Then he'll have moments where it's like he just had these like outbursts, and then it's like then you see him again, and it's like he's right back, in the game. Like I don't know, but I feel like that's the same thing. It's like they all have these awakenings and shit.
Right. And with Kanye, I feel like he'll get it like he gives this, okay, I see what you're doing, but why can't I do it type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's why if you notice, Kanye drops them names. He dropped names, them big names to
Yeah,
let
but
people know
this
like
this this what Kanye is kind of different at though, and this, I mean, he be saying shit here and there, but like when he don't talk about, and this is what MLK was talking about in his last year or so. You talking about the black dollar and how influential it is. So like we spending XYZ and they relying on, because we a small percentage, but our dollar weighs so heavy. So Kanye don't never talk about that shit, and MLK do be talking about that shit, and I think that's what probably got him actually
well,
like
listen,
Mm-hmm.
Kanye was talking
Kanye.
about that shit when he was going through his Trump run.
Yeah, but he don't really talk. He talk about the black dollar and how heavy it
Yeah.
is.
Because he was saying he was
But why
talking
you so
about
pressed? You so pressed for for name brand shit, and why is niggas spending $200 on shoes, and you got Kyrie got making shoes $120. I mean, I know you got the Gap shit going on, but you don't really, you know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
But
I
like
mean,
Marcus said, he wake up sometimes and he go,
but
But
not even
that's
just that, bro. I don't think that's even the issue, you know, because we all been growing up. We didn't all grown up, bro. Like, come on, if Kanye going, I'm gonna make some $40 shoes for the poor niggas. Then if you got them $40 shoes on, niggas gonna fry your ass up. Niggas gonna fry the fuck out of you, and he knows that. And he knows that, so why he gonna make some low?
But I'm saying, but you can't make. I'm talking about like his like jumpsuits and shit. You can't make shit look like $20 and then sell it for $200. You know what I'm saying?
but
Like
he
them
got shit that
jumpsuits.
look like trash, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For the
You
wild.
can't do that. I don't care what art you put in that shit. That shit look like some wild shit when you present it to me.
yeah,
I'm
For
sorry.
sure.
I mean, yeah,
I
already.
like-
And I like
say
the
that.
swipe. I like the swipe. I like to buy shit, but
Yeah.
you can't present that shit to me and talk about the black dollar. Period.
Just off of the
agree.
presentation, because what if this whole thing is like, I don't know, because if you look at the Yeezys and then like I seen a picture of some old slave shoes,
Oh yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
I was like, damn. And then you look at his clothes,
yeah, I
and then
seen
you
that
look
shit.
at it. So it's like they've been
I
making money
know.
off our culture for so long. Like, why can't they spend money on our culture? Like, if y'all really want to spend money, and that's one thing I could say about like if I do put money into something that's high end, but it's not even black owned, but black owned, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I was spending because at the end of the day, this black face is getting some type of bank off, and their kids are eating off of this. And hopefully, that they are putting something together that's sparking and changing and inspiring somebody out there with this dollar that I'm investing into them in. You know what I'm saying? Because I can either do that or I can continue to spend money into the motherfuckers who I know don't give a fuck about me or my people. Just saying, look, come buy these Timberland boots, make it look good, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm gonna rock off. You know what I'm saying. So it's and this the thing. It's like, nigga, if you, no matter which way you go, no matter how you think about it, at the end of the day, it is what it is. What are you willing to do about it? And that's why, like, even with this whole MLK thing, it's like all five of us on this phone right now. You know what I'm saying? We all can go and do as much work as we going to do as far as this whole thing go to bring light to it. Not even to bring light to just this, but this similar things like this. But we're so like, not we, but like everybody is so scared, not scared, but in their own way and lost. That shit is just, it just sucks. And that's why, like, every time I think about this type of stuff, I always come down to the ultimate thing. But who's about to stand up with me and be like, let's go knock on these people's door? You feel me? Like, I know I just said a lot, but shit,
It's all good.
like, this shit just be kicking me, bruh. Like, we're really debating about, like, not debating, but we're really having a conversation about how the government really killed a leader as wise as and bright as Martin Luther King, but he was in some other things. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like maybe he had to, like you said, Randall, maybe he had to do this to get in, and then once he got in, all right, it's time to ruffle them feathers. They might take me out, but hey, but shit, did it work? Because they covering up the whole story.
I mean, yeah, and even is that like, did it work? Is like, all right, like for everything that he fought for, like, okay, so I mean, what exactly did that do for us? You know what I'm saying? Overall, like and I'm not saying it like I don't believe. I'm saying I'm asking a real question, like what, for everything that he did, and he has this holiday. It's like, okay, MLK came on the scene, and boom, now we here. You know what I'm saying? It's like what exactly was what was the cause of the effect? I guess you would say,
I mean,
or over whatever the effect of the cause or whatever.
it seemed like after he passed, like all them dudes that was around him became bigger. All the people that was rubbing elbows with him became bigger, and the message that he was starting to pick up kind of died for a while.
It got
So
exactly. That's what I was about to say.
yeah.
I think it got watered down. That's why they kind of focus on "I have a dream" speech shit,
hmm
and they don't focus on that other shit that
The
he was
later
saying
stuff, yeah.
because they don't want you to see that part. They just want you to
Mm-hmm.
focus on the
Right.
on the
Bringing
kumbaya
everybody
shit,
together.
the
Mm-hmm.
kumbaya shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what they kind of use them for, and I think also on the way that does make us docile overall as a people, because they only focus on that aspect of him, not the totality of who he was. So it's like we kind of like sit back, like, no, we have to be peaceful. And I'm not saying that I think we should be rioting or nothing. I'm saying like I feel like it has this like sit back and I don't have to take action type mentality. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying action against others. I'm talking about even for yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like that it kind of creates that environment or whatever, or that mindset. But,
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, I wish following like next couple of days, I'm gonna put some like YouTube links to catch people up on stuff that we've been watching prior to this show, videos and interviews and stuff like that. It's a lot of interesting stuff when you look on the day of the event and the people involved. Like I
you talking
said,
that
like
he got shot?
yeah, that shit is interesting. But yeah, just look up his the whole boule and masonry and all that stuff. Some wild shit that I came across while researching is I found this book called Jewish Ritual Murder.
Shit, that's so action packed. Like,
Yeah,
goddamn.
bruh. And I think
Shit.
it's like from like I don't know when it's from. It's like from like ancient times. No, from 1944. And it breaks
Wow.
down like how they like the magic of stuff, like the energy they take from stuff like that. So this shit is real,
We were
pretty
talking
much.
about
Yeah,
like
you talking about like
sacrifices and all that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like you think it's like ooky spooky shit? No, this shit is real. Like they
yeah.
been practicing this shit for
That was like a long ass
millennia.
motherfucker. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
exactly.
I was just telling somebody that because you know how Bob Saget took the L, and I was like, oh, and somebody was like, oh, it happens in threes. I'm like, yeah, that's a real thing. That's like a program. Like this shit just don't be happening. I even told him to look at everything behind that. They found him in his hotel in Florida.
Yeah.
That like
Why
just
they
shit
always
like
get
that.
found
I'm
in their
like, come on,
hotels?
man. Just
They
found.
they always
Yeah.
just be getting found. They don't be nobody there. It, like
Yeah.
I be feeling like how the fuck these niggas just always be getting found alone, no foul
Niggas with
play,
money though. People
no
with
blood,
money though.
no blood. Like how the fuck does this shit be happening? It be weird, bro. You
You're
know?
right. You're right. That so
I'm telling
I'm
you,
right with you. I would love to read more of that book just
Yeah,
to
I
see
know. I
like
kind of
what
go
agree that.
exactly.
just
Yeah.
read it like the first like 4 pages for it. I was like, holy.
Oh, I already know that's about to be some. That's about to change like my whole way of thinking
But I'm
everything.
yeah, bro. Like this.
But
Go
no, I'm definitely into that.
archive.org. You can pretty much find a lot of books.
All right,
I'll be fine on it.
So question is, all right, so what do y'all think? All right, so as far as what MLK was fighting for, what is going into the future? What do we as a people need to do? You know what I'm saying? What do do we carry the baton? Was there a baton? You know what I'm saying? Like what is the next step? Because clearly this man, we celebrate him once a year, every year for what he was fighting for, but then it's like, okay, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Very, very well put. Because nobody has picked up that baton and like even tried to move forward after this. And what is that? Damn, that's almost 62 years. How long was that? I'm not even
64.
sure.
No, not 64.
Wow,
when he died, 68.
Yeah, 68, and this is overtime 68. I just put that two and two together. But
oh, and I hope it's like, nah, I ain't gonna say
nah.
that.
Oh nah, ain't gonna be me. It's like nah. But yeah, as far as like the baton, I don't know, bro. I don't think it's possible in this day and age. I don't want to sound like doom and gloom, but I don't think it's possible to rise to that type level because you got, I don't know. I think like I think
Man,
that
You don't
the
think everybody that gets to those levels is kind of compromised?
that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying.
Like,
that was
I'm
about
saying
to like
I
how
think the
far can
crown
you
is too
get?
protected. I think the
Yeah.
crown is
that's
too
what, and that's
protected.
the point I go back to where I say we underestimate the levels that niggas will go to maintain power because we're just
Yeah.
regular fucking people. We've never had that
Yeah.
much control. Like
And they
nigga, we
got
have to
crazy
obey.
money.
We have to obey the laws. These niggas don't have to obey the laws.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
And
different.
even
It's different.
and even when you spread the awareness when you get to a certain point, like not even like you the forefront of it, even when you start to spread the awareness, it's not going to get to that level. They're going to ask you out.
Before you even
Stations
get to
like
that point.
platforms like this, we got shut down off some fucking 200 view video.
But not even just that. Could you just imagine? Just put it like this. This probably regular 9 to 5 regular people who be doing research, getting information, probably doing deeper shit than we've ever done, and they niggas have been snatched out their fucking house. You know what I'm saying? Just off the Google searches, they like, oh no, this nigga's. You know what I'm saying? He's hitting the sensitive. They hitting the sensitive spots now. We can't let them speak. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know
Like,
if y'all saw. Yeah, did y'all see that interview? Big Sean said the FBI they had paid him a visit or something on some shit.
I
they
ain't hear
was
about
saying.
that shit, but I wouldn't be
But he was
surprised.
on the not
Drink
the,
champs.
Was it LA?
Was it drink champs?
Nah, it was I think it was a LA leaker. No, it was
Drink champs.
Ebro. I think it was Ebro in the
Ebro?
morning or some shit. Yeah. All I know is it was one of the interviews, but he said that. He said, yeah, off of some shit, I was saying and trying to put out there and like influence, they paid me a little visit. He's like, shit, me even just saying that might do something.
Oh no, it was LA Leakers when he did the freestyle.
Yep, the freestyle. That's what it was.
Yep. I remember that joint. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, man. But even him just like, speaking to that. Man, I've even back to Kanye.
So that's okay. Go ahead, but that's why I be like, like who, what is Kendrick and who is Kendrick? Like that's what I be trying. I be wondering, bro. Like I don't like he's like an enigma for real. Like,
wait, say that again. What happened with Kendrick?
Like who is Kendrick and like what is he doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as what? I mean, as far as his music, or like what you mean, like
his outreach. Like I don't like I don't want to put nothing like on nobody.
But that's his lane. Like that's what he does. I feel like he was a revolutionary for it.
But Phil, see that I think we had this conversation before. He might be the revolutionary nigga on wax, but like I like when he's not making records, you don't hear him saying shit about nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He probably like playing
exactly.
But that's the thing. That's probably the best way when you out the way and you ain't doing it. Because listen, Prince, people ain't really started getting on his ass until they found out, hold up, you mean to tell me all of his money and his royalties goes back to his community? Oh, Prince is doing this or this.
And he got his own studio and all that.
Yeah.
And he's all masters. Yep.
Then that's when, hold up now. And then he coming in these award show, he's saying anything he want to. Then Michael Jackson, he going around, this person's the devil. Oh yeah, I own the Beatles, right? Oh, I own this Sony.
They don't give a damn about us. Yep.
Yep.
Damn, bro. Y'all niggas be having me scratching my head over here. But that's real though, man. Like,
I mean, but I know what you're saying, but I feel like at a certain point, like I think K Dot got a job to do. Just like the rest of them. I think if he wasn't like playing into the whole Pyrus and Crips could all get along. He probably something at the end of this song. If he wasn't rapping about that shit, they wouldn't let this nigga on TV. You know what I'm saying? He kind of still give you that narrative. You know what I mean? He might not be talking about shooting and killing niggas, but he's still talking about like, he's still giving you that narrative of, just the black struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like he's still it sells records. I don't know what to say. I don't know how any other way to put it. It sells records.
Damn.
That's the best way to put it, though. But just like you said, I need your influence on the outside of just music too, man. Like, I feel like he possesses more power than he probably understands.
But what if he's just more comfortable with the music and the imagery and his videos and stuff? Because sometimes he'll put it in there. Like if you seen that jump with the SZA, and I think it was on the Black Panther.
Hey, Hey,
soundtrack.
He was going in on
Hey,
And
you know,
he had the Giants in the jump.
Listen,
hey, I say this, he about to perform at the Super Bowl, so we gonna learn.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
We
Yeah,
gonna
because
find out.
that's their stomping grounds right
We
there.
gonna find out because you
Yeah,
know
Yeah.
the Super Bowl
actually
tell you
hey,
everything.
great point, dog. Because this
Yeah.
for real the deal breaker for my ass. If he's already with them and he gonna show up on some
Yeah.
shit, man, I can never fuck with you again, dog. Because that's what always happens. Even Travis Scott, I don't even fuck with this nigga now. But I give him some points for letting Kanye know that Addy for the
Okay,
baby
yeah.
shower. That's a real
Yeah,
nigga right there.
yeah.
I wasn't even mad at that.
But I would say this, and fairness to Travis Scott, I mean, at the end of the day, like they all like kind of selling poison, on some level. So it's like you'd be like, oh, Travis Scott did that Illuminati ritual, but then I listen to Benny the Butcher, he'll talk about how he
Right,
had
selling
the plug he met. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all the same shit. At the end of the day.
Selling dope to my mother.
Benny, one of my favorite rappers, so I ain't shitting on him. I'm just saying.
Easy. Oh, yeah.
damn.
But I agree, man. We'll see. We'll see what they really talking about.
Hey, and I will say this. I will suggest y'all. I went on a Hove binge the past few days. Y'all niggas need like a Jay-Z, like just a Hove. Just listen to him.
Oh, bro. Oh, yeah. He on the
saying?
iTunes now.
Do that all the time.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like it reminds you. Like I think people they forgot. I think niggas.
Yeah, they forgot about it. When I got back on them, when they was talking about the versus shit, and I went back and like really looked at his catalog.
Y'all really forgot, man.
Yeah,
the audacity.
Man, Blueprint 2. Okay.
I never forget. Blueprint 2 is my shit.
That American Gangster album, I feel, is so slept on. That might be one of his like top joints. That shit is so cold, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Even when you
ain't better than Blueprint 2 though.
I mean,
Gift and Curse had some gems on
that. Yeah. And Blueprint 2 was like perfect timing, but that American Gangster shit was like a period piece for the movie too. Like you really felt that shit, man. Like they said he was watching that shit in the movie theater by himself just before he even like really came up with like the whole soundtrack and shit, just for like points and shit. But nah, man, Jigga that nigga, man, for real. I will never disrespect his catalog.
Even though in the boule.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. That's the disappointing part.
I mean, like I said, it's this industry, man. What you expect? Like they all, whether they are, choosing to do or not, like they all don't have to be quote unquote Illuminati. Like, it is what it is. It's like it's a certain messaging you have to push in order to be recognized, Like you were saying earlier, Randall, you was like, "Oh shit, well, I know I'm got to wrap around bitches and hoes and shit like that, but eventually I'm gonna change it." But what you gotta give niggas in order to be recognized, So
you think that's why, like, sometimes he'll like throw like little, bits and pieces. Sometimes
I think that's that. I think a lot of rappers do that. It's the what do you call it? Putting the medicine in the candy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. I think that's the only way you can do it. Because if you give niggas too much medicine, it's truth. You know what truth do to people? Niggas getting their feelings when they hear the shit that they like. People like to just hear shit that appeals to their feelings. As soon as you say some shit that doesn't appeal to their feelings, they get defensive, and then the whole whole message gets lost. So here, let me give y'all some shoot 'em up, bang bang shit, and then in the middle, just put a few gems, just to get y'all to listen.
The Bama did a song called Freemason with Rick Ross, who's a Freemason, who's also a fucking correctional officer. So it's just like jokes on y'all.
And not even just that, the motherfucking Rick Ross, what's it called? The nigga that took the name Rick Ross of a nigga who's living today.
Right.
Like Rick Ross right now could raise his hand like, no, nigga, that's me.
Right, yeah.
Right now. He could do that right now.
Yep.
And I fuck with Ross as a rapper, so don't get me wrong.
As a rapper,
I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan of him as a rapper. I mean, the way I look at entertainers now, just in general, like I separate the artistry from the person.
Right.
I don't try to get too caught up in
Yeah. Also, it kind of sounds better that way now that I look at them now, like WWE personalities, like back in the day, like when it was like in his heyday, like like WCW, like what I mean, fucking Tony Schiavone and shit like that. You know what I mean? with the microphone that before you go on, you like when I look at rap now like that,
that's what they are.
I kind of enjoy it a little bit more rather than like, oh, is this nigga real? Is he validated and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Like when we was, high school and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, his shit sounds better because he's real. You know what I'm saying? But if I look at him now and just listen to like the music, you know what I'm saying? And just listen to like wrestling personalities, I don't know. It just comes across like I'm at ease with it now.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't gonna. I remember the one rapper. What's it called? The one dude who he definitely got a lot was Tony Yayo. I remember because those free Yayo shirts. Yeah. I remember niggas thought Tony Yayo was about to be like the illest nigga of all time. Right. Just because he was in jail, everybody thought Tony Yayo was gonna come out of jail.
And he was doing all them phone freestyles and shit.
Freestyles, and it's so crazy. That's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? He did a freestyle from a phone. He has to be the realest. Like, it ain't even about what the nigga's saying. It ain't got shit to do with what he's saying. I just I know, but when you said that, it just took me back to high school because it reminded me when Tony Yayo was still locked up, and I was like, that's exactly how niggas looked at it. That's exactly how people looked at it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it more now.
Yayo.
Even though some niggas still sound corny, it's just
they do.
You just gotta take it for what it is.
Though. Yeah, that's the balance.
But it just, I don't know. Sometimes like Jay-Z should be kind of like bothering me sometimes because like
now or old.
Nah, it's just who. This sound fucked up. Like who he is because like if you like do research on him, like he knows like all these like he's a Mason, like so he knows like all this like ancient, mystery school type shit. Like he knows Malachi York and like he wears like the 5%er chain and Gods of Earth stuff. He gave Jay Electronica that big old chain in front of all the fruit of Islam and all that stuff like that. So you talk about all that stuff and then like and at the same time I don't know. I just want somebody to explain it to me. I'm talking. Hopefully, somebody can explain to me. Jay Electronica, you run around with like one of the Rothschild heirs.
His daughter.
Yeah,
I think that was like his girlfriend.
Yeah, and then like you would say like everything right in a song, like little gems that I'm looking for sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like not the booty and the bitches and all that shit like that. You would say the jumps that I be searching for sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I think if you play both. I mean, but right. They serving two masters, but and then I think that's kind of the like.
But nobody be talking about like shit. How he be talking about something like, oh yeah, like I need that.
Because nobody hears that. What you saying? That shit you talking about? The average nigga don't be hearing that shit. They don't see it. And they don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what I know exactly what you're talking about because I peeped that shit too.
So that should be like bothering me sometimes.
Because what I always look at is like I feel like Jay-Z one of those niggas that knows how to play to the people. He knows that the average nigga not gonna really listen to the substance,
right?
So and then at the same time, you know what I'm saying?
And then back on Jay Electronica is an enigma too because like this nigga never dropped an album for years, and like we used to hang on his like freestyles, and then when he drop an album, he dropped a whole album with Jay-Z, the best rapper of all time. Like that shit that didn't really make sense to me.
But I will say that listening to Jay-Z is the best rapper. I'm like. I don't know how you can argue it. I'm sorry, nigga. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people. All right, nigga, if you go through the whole discography,
but how does
singles listen to the B-sides?
I know.
I don't see the argument. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, but how does Jay Electronica drop his debut album and it's a fucking co-album with Jay-Z? It don't make don't make sense to me.
I mean, when that came out,
they gotta be like
they got some brotherhood shit behind the scenes. That's how I took it.
Some Lodge brother type shit, right?
Yeah, that's how I took it when it came out because they was even saying some shit that I feel like would go over the heads of like it was some shit they was talking about I couldn't understand. I'm like, what these niggas talking about?
Well, I had to look up a whole bunch of references.
Yeah, there was a lot of references on that album that I just did not know.
That we made a freestyle that they dropped like 4 years prior to that jump. They was dropping gems in that jump.
And even wasn't Jay Electronica? He was getting nominated for Grammys off of that shit too, right?
But I think Jay-Z is educated, but at the end of the day, that nigga gotta get his money. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna give y'all
Yeah,
what y'all want. He gonna give y'all what y'all want to hear at the end of the day. It's like, nigga, y'all didn't already put me on this page and this pedestal. You think I'm just gonna step down now and tell y'all the truth?
Yeah,
Right.
he knows the game.
You know,
He
yeah.
knows the game.
I'm here now, nigga. Why would I stop? You know?
And then like in his videos, he would show like the Illuminati shit, and then he'd be like, "Oh, maybe it could be, you know, what I mean, some, some ancient like mysticism type, all that stuff." But like you don't know because like he be playing, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, bro.
That's why I don't get too caught up because, like I said, I'm a Kanye fan, but Kanye has a lot of contradictory traits. Jay-Z does, and these are probably my two favorite rappers, and the same thing. So, like I said, if a nigga be like "fuck Jay-Z," I'll be like, "All right." If that's how you feel. Like I don't get too caught up in these niggas. I can think
yeah,
Jay-Z's the
Yeah.
greatest rapper of all time. You can say "fuck Jay-Z," I'll be like, "Hey, if that's how you feel," you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I don't get too caught up in but yeah.
See, but you're not a person that's trying to be right about everything. You know what I'm saying? You're not feeding your ego off of something even that small. That's what, just like you said, you just believe that fact, and that's what it is. You go keep that shit moving. You can agree or disagree with that shit. You don't have
And
to.
you can, and I said this before, and y'all kind of got, I think y'all got mad at me, but and I said this shit at the barbershop too. But like Jay Z, yeah, arguably greatest rapper alive, but he's also had the most overrated career of all time too. So
In what
What
way?
part was overrated though?
I don't. What was overrated? I don't understand.
just because nobody like assumed, because I mean he even said in the blueprint too,
Oh,
like he
yeah.
kidnapped, he kidnapped the game after the demise of Tupac, Biggie, and all that stuff. Do you think he would be at that level if they were still around? If he didn't have a Kanye and Just Blaze to take him to that next level after Blueprint or at
Nah.
I
Blueprint,
mean,
you think he
that's
would be
like
at that
No,
level?
but I would
that's like
say no
saying
about a lot of
would
people
Tom
though.
beat Tom Brady without
Yeah, me
Belichick?
too.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Nah, he wouldn't.
but what I'm saying is, but would Kanye be? But would Kanye be Kanye without Jay-Z?
No,
At
he
the end of
wouldn't.
the day,
No.
Would Just Blaze be Just Blaze without Jay-Z? Pharrell is probably the only producer that fuck with Hove that probably would have still been that nigga without him.
Yeah,
You know, Pharrell's
probably
probably the
yeah,
only one. And Timberland.
yeah.
That was
You know what
good.
I'm saying? But
Timberland
the
was
Kanye and the Just Blaze, I don't think them niggas would be those guys without Jay-Z though. Because he
good. They
Right.
was
pretty
kind
much
of
put them
coming
out
up
there.
around the same time though too. So everything was developing around
No,
that
Jay-Z
same
broke
time
them
around
niggas pretty much.
Rockefeller. Yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah. That's what I mean.
But at the
Yep.
same time, their production took him to another
Hmm.
level. At that point in time, 2001, after the Twin Towers, they was looking at him. It's New York. Okay, let's go.
Cause for real,
Yeah,
Kanye was really messing with Dame Dash before Jay. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Cause
yeah.
he
hmm
was
Yep.
spending for other people. Then
Yeah.
he got locked. I mean, of course he got locked in with Jay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He
So,
had to make that
I'm
decision
just
too when they
saying,
broke
like,
mhm.
up.
at the same time, he's the GOAT, but at the same time, he probably had one of the most overrated careers. It's just the longevity and all that stuff. But I mean,
I don't think you explained how it was overrated yet though. I still don't haven't heard like that was like, okay,
because it's
that's
just super, it's like commercial and consistent.
It was. He would drop the same time. He dropped double albums. He would drop
ain't that what you
It,
supposed to do?
shit.
Like, I don't understand. Ain't
yes,
that what you
I understand that, and I understand he's our man. But
No. I'm really
I
trying to
just I
understand.
asked if he had great
I'm not
timing.
getting the part that says, okay, I see there. That's a little overrated on that aspect.
because like he don't have like what I mean.
It wasn't
I
no
don't know.
competition.
It's
It
just
was
yeah,
easy. It
exactly. It
was
was no
given to him.
Good
yes.
timing.
You know
It
what I'm
was
saying?
his
Timing.
throne. If Big was still here, and if Big had the likes of there's anything possible because Puff would have did anything for Big. So him being the production, the video, like the videos were large on Michael Jackson level type shit, like the hypnotized jump. But
Yeah,
there was no way for because there has to be a king in New York. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been Big, point blank period. And they
yeah.
the same age for real.
Yeah, I mean,
I see what you mean
if
by
you
that.
say it from that point of view, if Biggie would have just
Yeah,
kept going, then maybe, yeah, I could see that.
I'm
Maybe
not gonna say.
Big
No,
I'm not
I
Big
gonna
mean,
say.
Big has 2 studio albums and it weighs heavier than anybody's catalog.
I
That's
will give you that.
I wouldn't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I
Ready to
don't agree
die.
with that at
Ready to
all.
die is that shit.
I, would-
Ready to die.
I think I mean since we're here, like I mean I really think that part of the whole Biggie and Tupac allure is because they passed. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the time they were at their height and it was taken from us. And I feel like everybody is so attached to that, like they're not even open minded. It's like no, but no other rapper died when they died, so I don't want to hear shit. Like you know what I'm saying? It's almost like in order for you to be in that class, you have to die
Yeah,
at your
I
peak.
mean,
It's like,
But
people,
also,
I'll put it like this:
people, people
if
have
Jay Z
died
would have put
since.
it like this, if Jay Z would have got killed at the let's see what was like at during the Hard Knock
Yeah,
Life
like
era,
25 or
you know what I'm
something.
saying?
20,
If Jay Z
yeah.
would have got killed on that era, niggas would have been like, nah, that nigga Hove is the greatest. Like if Jay Z would have died at his peak, people would be saying he's the greatest of all time.
but they both did numbers when they were alive. Because then Tupac, he sold the most albums when he was alive. What album was that? The joint he did after he left Digital Underground.
Oh, when he
Ready?
got
I'm
with
not
that,
ready.
that
Me
pro?
against the world.
Me
Me
against
against
the
the world.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then All Eyes on Me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Both of them
When he
joints,
got with,
like,
But
yeah,
I will also say Tupac was connected to a lot of controversy, and that's what
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
drew a lot of people to him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was
Tupac
the
was
first
like these modern day social. I'm not
media
saying he did it on
mogul.
purpose, but just how people use controversy for clout. That's kind of what
Yeah,
Tupac was back then.
All right, so
yeah.
look,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't mean to listen. I'm glad we brought that up. So we
100%.
just had a conversation about how MLK, right? How he was pretty much groomed into be this person, right?
Hold up. Oh, okay.
Let's talk about Tupac, right?
Hey, we had this conversation before, Randall. Go ahead.
Yeah.
we
Let's
did.
talk about,
We did. We've been
can
there.
we say that Pac was pretty much the same thing?
What?
Mhm.
You know, pretty much groomed to be this not outlaw, but to be
Oh, because
this
it's ties to the Black
outspoken.
Panthers and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
From
this
his
entity.
mom to where he got his name from,
Mm.
to his stepfather, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, almost sound like his life was scripted almost. That's basically what you kind of. I mean, I see what you're saying. It makes sense. And then it's like he was there. Then he got the stage. The music industry gave him. He went to
Mm-hmm.
arts and
Yeah,
he went to art and performance school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
yeah.
everything in his life kind of prepared him to be exactly where he was. You know.
Mm-hmm. And how do you? I mean, now how do you go from being an art school, then you go straight into like the hood of LA? You know what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying?
like literally you went from like a gifted and talented program for like artsy smartsy kids, and then boom, you in Oakland. Like
Yeah,
the next day. It's like, how
yeah.
did that happen? That's a
And
good question.
and
I
not
mean,
just
we
Oakland.
remember, yeah.
Oakland is very historic when it comes to black. Let's talk about the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? But
Damn, that's deep, but I know exactly what you mean. That says that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, both just the conversations we've been having, like, just had to tie them
But
joints
it's
in.
so crazy. But that lets you know that like a lot of these figureheads and these people that we look up to and we look at to as leaders, because even the same thing with MLK, even on a it's not the same, but even on a subtle level, Tupac is kind of in that same conversation with the Malcolm X, the MLKs,
Mm-hmm.
Medgar Evers, all these black leaders. Tupac was like the '90s version of them. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same shit. We kind of, and I think even some people will even say Kanye West is the modern day version of one of those guys. Not saying that they was fighting for it's like their influence. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Or just overall on the black community and how, like, because I remember when Kanye said that shit about the slavery was a choice. So many black people were so upset. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It was like,
Mm-hmm.
that means that we really look to him as a leader. For him to say something that doesn't appeal to us, it's like, like niggas was like in a rage about that shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that lets you know that even Kanye is looked at as a leader, whether people want to admit it or not, because you would not have
Mm-hmm.
gotten that mad about his perspective if you
Right.
didn't look at him in that light already. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Hmm. Dang, that's crazy. And then it's more than just like people like that. If you look at a lot of these people, like these celebrities, like their parents and their grandfathers, they be tapped in.
They
Like,
do. We had this conversation talking about how Odell Beckham's dad was Shaq's roommate in college. Like, what the fuck is the chances of that?
what?
Odell Beckham's dad was roommates with Shaq's father in college. What's the chances of that shit? And at LSU. So he was born. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Odell was born on LSU's campus. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Or if I'm not mistaken, though, if it wasn't him, there was another like prime premier athlete that was like born on like the campus that they ended up going to. But it's just that type of shit. Odell knew he was going to be an LSU Tiger from the day he came out the womb. You know what I'm saying? So,
Damn.
and then look at him. Then all of a sudden he get the one-handed catch. Then he changed the hairstyle, and everybody changed the hairstyle. We was talking about this. These LSU niggas be like influencing culture. They really
Yeah,
do. They
straight
really
up,
do, though. They really do.
bro. To this day, like everybody, Patrick Mahomes' hair, like nah, so that's the Odell Beckham
No,
haircut.
that's not
What
even
y'all
Odell.
talking-
That's the Honey Badger. What's the name was the first with that shit?
Oh yeah, Stat
Tyron Matthew
Matthew,
was the first
yeah,
nigga with that shit.
Stat. But everybody ride that
And
Drake
then
though.
look, Justin Jefferson started that little dance. Now everybody doing that dance. Another
Yep.
LSU nigga. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'm telling you, them LSU dudes be like, I don't know what's going on down there. And Shakari Richardson, LSU. You know, Shaq,
Mm.
LSU.
I seen Coach O on ESPN. He, he just looks so jolly all the time.
That's what I'm saying. This nigga don't care, young. I've
I
never
love
seen
him.
a I've never seen a coach that like knew he was going to leave a premier program like LSU and just
It
seem
just be
happier.
jolly.
He
Yeah.
seemed like he was even happier when he knew it was going to be over.
Uh-huh.
He be wilding, bro.
I bet.
I know you can tell, can't you?
Yeah, he be crazy.
Yeah. All right. We can leave it here. We spoke about enough. We even get to talk about, you know, how Coretta took the victory from the trial and stuff. But yeah, this is not episode overtime. We talked about Martin Luther King's assassination and the motive behind it. Of course, we know the government was found guilty at a civil court, but we want to talk about the motive. The shooter name was actually a Frank Strouser, a member of Memphis Police Department. Y'all can look that up. I would highly recommend you to get the book or listen to the audible of The Plot to Kill King, and then come up with your own assessment of the motive. Listen to his last speeches, look into his involvement with the Boule, the Freemasonry, the people around him, Jesse James right there, Abernathy. Listen to some of Dick Gregory's talking about Operation Lantern Spike. Yeah, run through all that shit. Yeah, Cone
No.
Cell Pro, Black Messiah, MOK Boo Lavard. Yeah, anything I missed, I don't know. I'm gonna put a whole lot of links under this. I'm gonna start doing that. And I'm also start doing TikToks when I get a chance. And put some facts on some green screen type shit. But yeah, it's me, Remy Please of the Flight Room TV. This is another episode of Overtime. Remy Please, Lighthouse, CMO, PNHD, Boo Boy. We're gonna see y'all.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Yo.